Everyone talks about moving to Minneapolis, but the people who really know this market aren't even choosing the city. They're going into small towns, lakes, real main streets, places you can walk and still be downtown in under 30 minutes. Today, I'm showing you 6 small towns near Minneapolis that people are moving to right now. I've been in this market for over 7 years, and I'll show you exactly where that demand is showing up first. All right, this first one is the one that sets the tone for everything else on this list. Excelsior has that true lake town feel with a walkable downtown right on the water that people actually use day to day. Water Street is the center of everything. It's compact, you can walk it end to end in about 10 minutes, but you're constantly stopping at shops, coffee spots, restaurants, things that pull you in. 4 new restaurants open on Water Street in one summer, which you don't usually see in a town this size. And one of them is Vagabondo, a Sicilian spot from a Minneapolis chef right next to some of the longtime local places. Another one open is Shiki, a local ramen bar, which my wife and I have really enjoyed. Mirabelle, right next door, has incredible drinks as well. You've got local boutiques, small galleries, Excelsior Bay, Dunn Brothers for coffee, and a mix of newer restaurants alongside longtime favorites. My wife and I's favorite restaurant in Excelsior is Coalition. Great drinks, appetizers, and main course meals that are delicious. The lake sits right at the end of Water Street, and that's where Excelsior Commons is, the main lakefront park on Lake Street. During the summer, they run free concerts on some Wednesday nights with food trucks, local beer, and live music right by the water. It's a regular thing during the summer that locals enjoy. You've also got 4th of July on the lake, Apple Days in the fall, and smaller winter events that keep things going even when it's cold. Day to day, it's simple stuff people enjoy here. Sitting by the water, walking down to the docks, or even pulling up by boat since there's public access right in town. There are paddle boards, boat cruises, and a seasonal streetcar along the lake. Excelsior is kind of what everything else gets compared to. When people tell me what they want in a suburb, most of the time they're describing this area, but they just don't know it yet. And right next to Excelsior is Shorewood. Shorewood gives you more space, more privacy, and a quieter, more residential feel. Homes here sit under mature trees along the lake, and the area leans more toward nature, with multiple lakes, wooded trails, and places to kayak or fish. Both areas sit along Lake Minnetonka, about 20 to 30 minutes from downtown Minneapolis, which keeps demand strong. It works well for people who are remote or hybrid. You get that lake lifestyle during the week, and getting into the city when you need to is still very easy. And in a few minutes, I'm gonna show you a place where the lots get way bigger, the crowds completely disappear, and it still doesn't feel far from the city. So stay with me. Now, when it comes to homes here, anything near the water comes definitely at a premium. In Excelsior, homes close to the lake usually start in the high 7s to low 800s and move well into the millions with direct lake frontage. In the surrounding areas, including Shorewood, without lake access, you'll see more homes in the 600s to 900,000 range. Shorewood lakefront homes move into the 1 to 2 million plus range easily. Homes that are priced right here tend to move quickly because there is demand. Excelsior sets the benchmark for the Lake Minnetonka lifestyle, but it's not the only way to get it. And the next place shows that from a different angle. If you're watching this and starting to think, yeah, I could totally see myself in one of these areas, I would love to help you. Choosing the right town is just as important as choosing the right house. And that's what we do here every day across the Minneapolis suburbs. My info is in the description below, so reach out and we'll figure out what actually fits your lifestyle. All right, let's get back into it. Victoria sits just southwest of Excelsior, still in that Lake Minnetonka area, and a lot of people group Excelsior and Victoria together, but daily life is not the same. Excelsior brings in more visitors, more people coming in for the day. Victoria feels more local. You start recognizing faces, kids are out riding bikes, weekends are low-key, maybe you're at Carver Park or grabbing dinner in downtown after, and it never feels crowded. Locally, it's called the City of Lakes and Parks. There are about 12 lakes in and around the city, and the western edge runs straight into Carver Park Reserve. It's a large park system with trails, a nature center, Lake Auburn, camping, an off-leash dog park, an archery range, and horse trails. It leans heavily into outdoor living, especially in the fall, which is a great season to spend time outside. Downtown Victoria is small but walkable. You've got Omni for coffee, Ruby's Roost for pastries, Winchester and Rye for dinner, just a handful of local spots that give it a character without feeling busy. Floyd's Bar is also a local favorite if you're into that small town bar feel, which I personally love. There are also summer concerts at Bayfront Park where people come out and hang around. Families around here always say it's easy to live in because you're close to Chanhassen, Chaska, Excelsior, and the rest of the western suburbs, but it doesn't feel like the city pushed out this far. The pace here stays slower, and it also has a more polished feel without being over the top. Besides, families looking in this area often end up in Victoria because it's part of the Eastern Carver County School District, which has a strong reputation. Homes here lean towards newer construction and larger lots, where most are from the 2000s and newer with 3 or 4 bedrooms, set back on quieter streets, and the typical single families homes here are in the mid 500s to upper 600s. And larger lots or lake access push into the 7s to 900s. I personally love Victoria, and if I didn't have family in the different part of the metro, I would strongly consider living here myself. For buyers looking near Excelsior who want more space, newer homes, and less competition, Victoria is usually where they land. And if you keep moving west and want even more land and top-tier schools, the next place takes that a step further. When you get into Medina, it opens up very quickly because the lots out here are bigger than most people expect. You're not packed into a tight subdivision, and that's on purpose. They've kept larger zoning and haven't built it up like a lot of other nearby suburbs. Homes here are more spread out. There are more trees, and it's really quiet. And even though you're under 25 to 30 minutes from downtown Minneapolis, it doesn't feel like it when you're out there, but you're still really close. You don't see a bunch of townhome clusters or strip malls, so it keeps that open residential feel where most people own their homes here, and you can tell everything's well kept, and a big part of living here is Baker Park Reserve, right on the edge of Medina. It's about 2,700 acres with trails, woods, and lakefront on Lake Independence, where you've got hiking, biking, horseback riding, camping, and even a golf course, which is extremely hard. It has that up north feel, but you're still close to the metro. And when you're out there, it doesn't feel packed. You've also got lakes like Half Moon Lake and Lake Katrina nearby for fishing or getting out on the water. And later on, there's a place that goes the complete opposite direction. Real Main Street, real history, and a price point you don't really see in the rest of these. Now, schools here are a big draw too. Parts of Medina feed into Wayzata, which has been ranked the #1 school district in Minnesota for the last 3 years, according to niche.com. And other parts go into Orono, which is also a strong school district. So for a lot of families where schools are a big priority, that alone keeps Medina on their list. For housing, you're mostly looking at newer construction and move-up homes, with places like Weston Woods, Deer Hill Preserve, and Meadow View bringing in buyers who want more space or are working remotely and don't need to be closer in. Newer homes here usually start in the high 700s to low 900s plus. And once you get into bigger lots or custom builds, you're well past 1 million. Medina works really well if you want space, privacy, and strong schools without being too far out. But the next one gives you a small town feel at a different price point. All right, I'll be up front. This is my home market. I live here, I work here, so this is just what I see every day. What really makes Maple Grove stand out is that it actually gives you a place people go to, and that's the shops at Arbor Lakes, which was Minnesota's first lifestyle center. It's about 4 blocks of shops and restaurants. You can walk with sidewalks, landscaping, and a central area with a fountain where people just hang out. You've got national retailers like J. Crew Factory mixed in with local spots, and in the evenings, people are just out there, walking around, sitting on patios, spending time, and a lot of people go even when they don't need anything else. It's just part of the routine. Then you've got Elm Creek Park Reserve, which is a big part of life here. And the place here is huge. You've got trails, biking, a swim pond in the summer, and in the winter, there's tubing with a lift, skiing, snowboarding, cross-country trails with lights, and people from all over coming here on weekends. But if you live here, you're there all the time. But wait until you see the last town. That's where a lot of new projects are already going in, and it's why more people are starting to look there. Now, Maple Grove is technically a bigger city, over 70,000 people, and there's always something going on, but it never feels overwhelming. You've got things like Central Park, small markets, and seasonal stuff going on year-round. Location-wise, you're right by I-94 and I-694, so getting into downtown Minneapolis is usually 20 to 30 minutes. So there's a strong medtech growth happening nearby, with major employers like Boston Scientific expanding in the area. For schools, it's in the Osseo School District, which is solid overall. And Maple Grove Senior High is one of the stronger schools in that system, according to niche.com. Now, most single-family homes here are in the low 400s up into the mid 500s and 600s. And then you've got larger or more updated homes going into the 7s and 800s and up, but homes here do move pretty quickly, usually under 30 days, and demand here stays steady year-round. Maple Grove works really well if you want something that just feels easy day to day, active, organized, and everything close by. And if you're looking for something with more history and a true small downtown, the next spot gives you just that. Anoka sits about 20 miles northwest of Minneapolis, and it's one of the few places around here that still feels like a real small town, with actual history behind it. It's known as the Halloween capital of the world, and that goes back to the 1920s. Every October, the whole town leans into it. There are a few different parades, one at night with lit floats and lights, plus runs, tours, and the entire downtown gets decorated. And people come from all over for it. Outside of that, the downtown is what stands out. It's a real main street, brick buildings, older storefronts, places that have been there a long time. And you can go out, grab dinner, get a drink, walk around, and stay in that area the whole night. They actually just opened up a social district here, so you can actually walk around with your drinks in hand. Anoka sits right where the Mississippi and Rum rivers meet, so you've got water right in the middle of town. Besides, there's a park at that point, and people are out there walking, sitting by the water, especially in the evenings. Anoka has a social district, like I mentioned, so the first in the state actually set up just for this area, so you can grab a drink and walk between spots down toward the river along the main street. One of my favorite spots here is the hardware store Speakeasy. They have $6 old fashions on Wednesday nights, and you need an actual code word to get in. It's a great spot. On a warm night with the Mississippi right there, that's when people really start to get why their friends love living here. Food-wise, it's mostly local spots, such as Han's Bakery, which is one people go out of their way for. 10K Brewing is right there as well. 201 Tavern has a beer garden, and there are enough smaller places to spend a full night here without leaving the area. Suburbs is one of my personal, again, local small town favorite bars that have great drinks and wings. If you're commuting, it's about 25 to 35 minutes into downtown Minneapolis on a normal day. And the schools fall under the Anoka-Hennepin School District, which is the largest school district in the state and overall solid when you look at the rankings on niche.com. Now, this is one of the more affordable options on this list, with homes here in the low to mid 300s and 400s. And you're getting older homes here with character that you don't see in newer suburbs. Anoka works well if you care about charm, history, and staying in the lower price range. And if you're thinking a bit more about growth and what's coming next, the next place is where more people are starting to look. St. Michael Albertville, or STMA, feels pretty different from the other places we've talked about because you're not getting a walkable downtown or a historic main street here. What you have is an area that's growing, sitting alongside I-94 about 30 to 40 minutes from Minneapolis, heading towards St. Cloud. That stretch has gotten easier to drive with recent expansion, and you're starting to see more development built around it, such as a Costco going in nearby in Otsego, an Aldi planned right around the same area, and new neighborhoods keep getting added. In just the first 9 months of 2025, St. Michael approved over 230 new homes, so a lot is getting built already. For example, there's also a bigger project near Lake Wilhelm, close to 300 homes, that's working through approvals right now, with construction possibly starting in May 2026. And day to day, it feels like a working town where people live, raise families, go to school, and go to work. It still has that small town charm feel, but you can tell it's growing around you. What's nice about it is it feels less crowded and less busy than Maple Grove. The school district doesn't get talked about as much as some of the others, but it's solid, with the high school ranking in the top 10% in the state, and they just passed a $21 million bond last year to upgrade facilities and technologies, which is something families pay attention to when they're thinking long term. Getting in and out has gotten a lot easier because they did a roughly $65 million expansion on that stretch of I-94 between St. Michael and Elberville, and you can feel the difference when you drive it. You're also seeing the kind of buyers moving here who want stability, newer homes, and a little more space, especially people who aren't tied to being close to downtown every day. On the housing side, this is where it stands out because you're mostly looking at newer built homes, usually 4 bedrooms, garages, maybe 2 to 3 stalls, and that kind of setup, and a lot of them land in the mid to upper 400s. Some start a bit lower in Elberville, and newer, larger homes push well into the low 5s or 600s, which is a big difference compared to Maple Grove or anything near Lake Minnetonka. So if you want something newer, more space, more garage stalls, and you're okay being a bit farther out, this is one people keep coming back to, and as more of this gets built out, more buyers are just going to be starting to pay attention to it. It really just comes down to which one actually fits your life. That's where people either get it right or end up in the wrong spot. If you're ready to get serious about one of these communities, shoot me an email today. I work with buyers across these suburbs every day and can show you exactly what's available right now and what fits your priorities. Let's figure out your town together. And if you want to make sure you don't end up in the wrong spot, I've got a video linked right here where I go over which suburbs people regret after they move in and why the same place can be a great fit for one person and not work at all for someone else. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.